Currently, Shirley coordinates an agriculture and ICT project for Practical Action, and she's a specialist in ICT with special emphasis on their application for agriculture. And her current and past experiences, including she's a founding member of the Volunteer for International Network of Women in Action, and a regional coordinator for the Rural Telecommunication Research Center of the University of Cusco. And so she has been working in Practical Actions for more than 8 years. Practical Action is a British NGO with more than 35 years of histories in Latin America. So without further ado, Shirley, please.
Thank you so much. Well, good afternoon to everybody. My name is Shirley Pazos. I came from Bolivia, but I'm Peruvian. So I think it's working? Yeah? Oh, okay, thank you. So we are very thankful for to the Purdue University to give us the opportunity to share with all of you here. Today we are going to talk a little bit about our experience in Latin America and to introducing our approach of technology justice. So please be patient with my English because it's not the best, but I'm trying to speak despacito so you can understand, please. Well, as Tim says, we are a British NGO that we work looking for a sustainable world free of poverty by the use of technology. We are focused on developing countries as India, Africa, Asia, Peru, and Bolivia. And in the Latin America, we have like 30 projects now working in these both countries. We work with this focus with three areas. One of them is the disaster risk reduction and adaptation to climate change. The other one is the access to energy, ICTs, and basic services. And the other one that we work is the agriculture and access to markets. So well, for us, all the presentation I'm going to talk about the technology. So before to start, I want to make a precision of what is technology for us. For us, the technology doesn't mean just the physical infrastructure, machinery, or equipment. It's also the knowledge, the skills, and the capacity to organize and use this effectively. For us, people are the most important. We can develop technology without think about the people who are going to use this technology. So this is the biggest thing of our approach. When we talk with technology, we also think that it's available for everyone. No? When was the last time that you look or use your phone? Maybe right now? Yeah. When was the last time that you used electricity or you wash your hands? It's hard to imagine a life or a day without the technologies. But what happened with communities like this? I want to introduce you to Ananiso community. This is ubicated 4 hours from Cusco in the Pitumarca district. In this community, there are 20 families that are living in the town and more than 50 families around the town. These families are 200 meters each other because it's a very isolated community. They just have electrification just in the town, I mean just for the 20 families. They have safe weather and toilets just in the health center and the school. The families use silos. There are not cellular access. Yeah. The access to the health is very limited, and the more frequency disease are respiratory issues. Like Ananiso, there are a lot of communities in Peru. In Cusco, there are 108 districts. Each district has like 50 or 60 communities like this, just in Cusco. Peru has 24 departments, and there are a lot of countries like Peru with this kind of communities and this kind of services. So we can talk about the technology justice if a community or a people doesn't have access to useful and sustainable technology. And the technologies must to be scalable. We, in our work, we doesn't big innovation or big technologies. We usually close the technology for that who can reach them, like Ananiso 1. So today, but it's not a prescription, it's just our learning, I want to share with you 2 cases. One of them is our learning from a WIJA project, from a project that we have in Peru, that talks about the sustainability. Why not only the technology is important for us, why not only the technology is important for the development. The other case of a study that I want to share with you is another project that show us how to design improved cooktop tubes and how to make the design for intermediate technology with the rural groups. So here is the first one, the Willay project. Willay is a Quechua word that means to informate, to communicate. So it was a project that we did in Acopia town. Acopia is also in Cusco. It's a town 3 hours from Cusco. This is a medium town. Has a conventional electricity, has cellular access, but 3 years ago doesn't have internet access. They are also potable water and sanitation basic services. Basic access to the technology was covered. Everybody has access to electrification, to the weather, to the health, to education, everything that's okay. But there is a health center. And in the health center, they use the electrification, but they don't have access to telephones. They use only radios. And they have to communicate with the central hospital of Cusco to make the transfer of the emergencies, to have to transfer to the most critical patients and other things. And also they have to use a lot of systems that the Ministry of Education use. They have to send a statistic, they have to send to reports, and they don't have internet. So all the doctors has to go to Cusco, 3 hours to Cusco, to send the reports and the information. And there wasn't people in the health center to attend to the patients. Also, there is a school. In the school, there are like 200 kids for all the communities that was around Acopia. And in the school, they have electrification, they have computers, but they don't have access to internet. So the kids doesn't know what is internet. He doesn't have Candy Crush or doesn't have another games, doesn't have cell phones, but they have all the spirit to still learning. Also, there is a police station that coordinates all the safe things in the town and has to coordinate with another police station that was near. And there is a local municipality. In the local municipality, they just attend on Friday, because from Monday to Thursday, the people is in Cusco, because they have to complete forms, they have to ask money, they have to do a lot of things because they don't have internet, so they are not in the town. So the people, when went to the local government, they doesn't find anyone. With these problems, our goal in this project was connect to the principal local institutions to internet and develop information systems so we can improve their service for all the people. As a good engineers, we developed a very robust telecommunication design. We make we make a Wi-Fi network, not only for Acopia, also for another 3 or 4 communities that was very near to them. We have a lot of meetings with the local government, we have meetings with the school, we have meetings with the police station, with the health center to make a participate design. We decide where to install the repeaters stations because they are secret mountains and we can put it in anywhere. So we decide with them the traffic of the network, the width of band. We decide everything in a participative way, okay? So everybody was very happy. The police station has phones. In the health center, they have computers. They have the telephone. The doctors was very good. The kids can enter to internet. Also the teachers. Everybody was very, very happy. No, everything was okay. Everything was we supposed to do everything that we had. We train to the people, we train to the local government, we train to the teachers, we train to the officers in the police station, we train to the health center. We had protocols and agreement with the local government to pay the bill. The police will take care of the repeater station. The school and the health has to do the maintenance of the system. We design information system. Everything was okay. But one day, the computer says no. Nothing was working. Nothing. Why? One of the solar panels of the repeater station was stalled. Because of the rains, the conventional electricity system has failed a lot of times, and there were a lot of computers that died, as my laptop. Nobody did the maintenance of the local systems. The local government just paid 3 months What happened? The people that we trained was fired or was changed the place of work. The other people doesn't have time. Of course, they were teaching and they were taking care of the people. The police doesn't have money to fuel for their vehicles so they can visit the rapid station. In the municipality management was changed. The technology was of the first generation. We make participatory designs and implement process, but it wasn't sustainable. The technology is not enough. We made everything that we're supposed to do, everything. But we didn't take one principal consideration when we design, because we forget this, the community, the people, the solution. All the people in the community doesn't know that all the things that we are doing. They even know that in the schools they have internet. They even know that in the local municipality they have a lot of systems that has to be with these repeater stations. But the people of the communities, they are not going to go to anywhere. They are the principal user and we didn't take care of them. They're going to be sure that the local government pay the bill because they need the best service of the health center of the schools. With this learning, it's not enough just a participatory design. We also need management models led by the community, create local technology capacities, and with the youth and the women to create entrepreneurs, to create ventures. This picture is very interesting for us because we work with the ladies of the community so they can fix all the solar panels that we were using. They can fix all the computers that they were using. After that, this system doesn't have any fault because the people was very organized. They go to the municipality when the municipality doesn't pay the bill. They go and they ask because they need that the children have internet at their school. They need that the doctor has the time to be in the health center. They need that all the public functionaries of the municipality has been in the municipality. So sometimes when we design system, when we design technology, we don't take care the most important part of the implementation. That is the community, that is the people who is going to use the technology, who is going to use the service. But in order of this sustainability, our framework for change for practical action is the transforming the way that the technology is used to improve the lives of people living in poverty. We make the first thing, we demonstrate. We design technology, we put the technology in the communities, they use the community, the technology work, the community is happy, the family can use the technology, but what else? We need to learn. We are not the only NGO that are working with technology. We are not the only actor in the industry that is working with technology. We have to learn from the universities, we have to learn with another NGOs, we have to learn from the family and from the community because they also develop technology. And then we have to inspire. I think that all the partnership that we are building, for example, with Purdue, for example, with another institutions, it's going to be the heart of the inspire things. If we just keep us in the demonstrate and the use of the technology, we are not keeping to anywhere. We have to demonstrate, we have to learn from each other, and also we have to inspire. We need to have policies and we need to have politicals that can approve and that can respond of the technology that we are doing. So, in order to learn, as a good engineers, we have to learn how to design for social innovation. No? We know how to design technology. We are engineers of the most. Yesterday I saw a lot of papers that has a very good projects and very good innovation. But we are not experts in the design for social innovation. It's not our strong part. As practical action, we have to learn, and we have to learn a lot for this. So I'm going to show you an experience of another project, that is the Allimpact project. Allimpact means well-being, is another Quechua word. And we are going to return to the Ananiso community, the first at the beginning. This is not a prescription, it's just our learning, okay? So we have these 5 steps when we make design for social innovation. We identify these 5 steps with a lot of practice and in all the projects that we are working. The goal of this project was to improve the life quality of the Andean families, reducing the ambiental risk through the access and management of basic service. One of the biggest problems of this community was the use of the traditional cooks. The traditional cooks that have a lot of smoke in the house, and in the house there are always the children and the mothers, and they are always aspiring that smoke. Also, they have for the cooks, they need to deforest some traditional trees in the zone, and the children and the mother has to walk a lot to find these things. So, in our approach, the first part is the research. What we have to do? We have first to identify the issue, identify and define the problem. In our case, more than 730,000 households use fossil fuels and their biomass and as a source of energy for cooking, which leads to a decrease in air quality, respiratory and ocular health problems, and the deforestation of natural trees. When we research and when we identify the problem and when we define the problem, we have to define two problems. The first is the default. Our default problem in this case was that the people need access to fully efficient cookstoves to improve their health and quality of life and to reduce the time that women and men spend on tasks related to cooking on the provision of cooking food. That is the first problem, okay? But there is another problem that is the real issue. That is the lack of connection between a working product and an aspirational product is a big flaw that contributes to insufficient or non-existent user adoption of fully efficient cook scope. It's the offer versus the demand. We can improve and we can decide just one cook, but this cook will just solve the problem of one family. But what about all the families? What about all the communities? So we need to design an efficient solution to this. So the next step is gather all available information relevant. We need to understand the technology. We need to analyze all available manufacturing process and resources. We need to boots on the ground, connect with the user needs, context and inspiration, research of the local market, national economics, demographics, and all external factors that affect or influence to the project. How the technology works, what materials are they using, why they use these materials, what are the cultural meaning of the cook, who build the cooks, are there other cooks in the zone, why they work, why didn't, how much costs to build a cook, how much can the community or the family pay for a new cook. We have to do a lot of questions and gathering all the information, even the information that you think that you don't going to use, because you are going to use in somewhere, in some part of your design. After that, we start with the design process. For the design process, we have to distill the key information and define the variables that can lead the solution and ideas to solve the issue. First, we look for pain points and the opportunities. After we listen to the user, they are the best people to tell us what is going and what they need. Ask, find additional information that they can give you a better perspective, share ideas, discuss opinions, and brainstorm with the user. No matter how many meetings do you will need to do that. Yesterday in the posters that I was looking, I think that this part was missing because they have an idea and they want to prove that idea. But I think that they don't have all the time to discuss the information, to discuss the problem with the user. No? And this will be one of the more difficult parts. After to have these insights, we have to define the implications and design the opportunities. If we define the implications, we're going to have the opportunities to improve our designs. So we have to, in this case, in the cook stoves, we have to say about ergonomics and safety, technology and manufacturing, transportation and cost, user perception. Yesterday, nobody has information about the cost, about the materials that they were using, how much it will cost the transportation for the things to the communities. After to design our solution, we have to implement it, execute, test a lot, validate, and get it done. This is one of the cooking that they built. We just facilitate the design of an improved cookstove of 70 families. There were multiple design, multiple user, and all of the designs leading by the community with our technical orientation. We didn't make the cook. We just facilitate of the design of make the cook. This is very important because sometimes when we design of the solution, then when we left, the people doesn't have anything to do. So it's very important that we give to the people, that we give the community the instruments, the tools that they can make their own innovation, that they can make their own design, also with all technical orientation.
Just a little bit.
Yeah, okay. Okay, technical issues. Well, and after that action, there is something that is our first learning that is more than action. We need to build capabilities and sustainability. So we need to extend the service to another families to do the maintenance of the technology, and we can do that because we don't have a lot of money to do that and for being in the communities all the time. So that is why it's important that the people can do it by themselves. You can see this is another model of improved stoves. This is another of a solar cook. So they can have a lot of models because they built their own technology. Well, but we just demonstrate that the cook is working, but we need to continue learn and continue to inspire. So in the second phase of this project, because we have the methodology, we have all the cooks, we have the users and families and other NGOs using and validate this technology, we need more people. So we go to the industries, because the industries can link us with the market, because we need replacement, we need technical assistance sometimes. Also, we have to go to the universities, maybe to improve the design. The Purdue, for example, can help us to improve all the design of these technologies. We need to regulation institutes to certificate the technology aspect, smoke emission, performance improvement. We also are working now with chefs and other ambassadors and also the press to disseminate this technology and make conscience of the problem. So what we have? With this project, now we have a fund of innovation and development of portable cookers. That is the second phase. We just designed at the beginning, but now we have an innovation fund, so we can give money to the small entrepreneurs in the communities, and they are starting and making new design for sale to another communities. But there are still a lot of needs. There are people who need to be prepared for all the technology change. We must continue training. There are children without access to safe weather in isolated communities. We have still needs. There are communities as Ananiso that still has not access to basic service. And the technology change and advance every day, but not for all. We have to prepare to all the population for the technological change that are coming. We need to facilitate the development of the technology from all the places. We need to develop technology, even small or intermediate or big one. I think that the development of technology from the local is the only way that the developing countries are going to be a developed country. We are going to be a gerund if only in the United States of America or in Europe or in other countries they are making innovation. But what about us? We need to develop our own technology. So just for end, I want to...
Our world is changing.
Please, someone, the volume. Yeah.
Now more than ever, we all rely on technology to shape our world and everyday lives. But towards a practical action, technology means more than a smartphone or a computer. It's about creating the right solutions for people in individual situations. It's also about using technology to help end poverty and protect our planet. From supplying clean drinking water and growing food, to delivering renewable energy and reducing the risk of disasters. Technology influences everything we do. It inspires people and transforms lives. And while we know that some change can take decades, not weeks, we can make a difference now by listening to what communities really need and working together to provide truly permanent change at every level. By sharing knowledge, we can show people not only how to help themselves, but also how to help others. Because implementing the right technology can not only help families, it can protect our planet and also help end poverty for good. Join us in our fight for technology justice. Visit us at practicalaction.org.
Well, I have just 2 minutes, really. I want to thank for the opportunity, and also we have a lot of ideas. We have a lot of needs in the communities, but we don't have a lot of partnership that can help us with investigation. So I think this is a very big opportunity to do that. You have a lot of students that can make a better investigation, that can improve all the things that we need in the communities, and they don't have to imagine a problem. We can tell him what are the problems that we are having in the community. So I think this is a very big opportunity to collaborate with you and with me. Thank you so much.
Questions?
Thank you for a nice talk. So I actually visited Cusco in Peru, and to some level, I saw a lot of similarities in culture between here and India, but also in terms of the segregation between the different parts of society that also makes it more challenging to reach people out in remote places and so on, and the underprivileged. So what is your, you didn't talk about the cultural aspects of this challenge at all, and I'm assuming there are some opportunities for internships whereby people that haven't been exposed to these real challenges get exposed to it. Unless you live there for like 1 or 2 months, you're not going to really understand the practicalities of very different type of non-technology innovations in society. So do you have any comments on how we can sensitize our students more in terms of these things when we are isolated from reality?
Yes, I have not a comment, I have a proposal. Not only a comment. I think when I was in the university, I was studying at Cusco University. And just for me, that I'm Cuscanian, my world ends in the main square. I didn't know the reality of my own region. I didn't know. And I think that it's very important that the people know that go and to visit and to share with the people. Sometimes you can look at video, you can read some information, but it is not the same. You can imagine one thing, but when you go to the communities, it's another thing. It's totally different. So I understand that all the students, for example, they have information for everywhere, but they didn't go to the practice. I didn't know exactly the places. As practical action, we were very thankful, for example, if we have this link with your students, and if they can solve some of our problems that we have in the communities, also we can be thinking in internships, so they can go to Peru, they can go to Bolivia, they can help us in the innovation, they can help us with the design of all the technologies. We have a specialist there, but sometimes we are always in the same thing. We are looking the same thing. We need another view, we need another eyes that can give us another ideas. So, please, you are invited to my city.
Yes.
I'm curious, you showed the chimney and ventilation system on the stoves. Did you find folks receptive to putting in chimneys and ventilation in a place that normally doesn't have them? And I'm just curious because we're sponsoring a lot of that work in other parts of the world, and we've had a lot of resistance to the change.
To the change.
And the resistance obviously was most acute when you asked them to pay for it. But it also seemed that people were not treating indoor air pollution as something that, from a medical perspective, they cared about. I've had comments from people saying, yeah, I know it's not good for me, but I smoke and I know that's not good for me too, and I'm not going to stop. While things that did make a difference and prompted people to make a change were things like better fuel utilization or cooking faster. And I'm just curious if you guys have experienced some of those issues.
Yes, at the beginning we have always the resistance of the people. They doesn't want to change, but we don't know develop the technology, and we bring them. We develop the technology together, and they choose. We give them the information. For example, these are the pollution damage. Look, you are going to the health center, and look what the doctor are saying. Look the eyes of your children. Look the eyes of the women. How many times are you walking for do this thing? And they think, they analyze, and they put in the practice. We didn't go with a solution with a packet. We developed the solution with them. I think that is a very good idea, because this hace que haya menos resistencia. O sea, hace que haya menos resistencia de la gente. Reduce, yes, that is.
Other questions?
Thanks a lot. I'm a big fan of improved cook stoves in semi-arid and arid environments. I was working on a resilience project in northern Kenya, and we had a improved cook stove component, which was a portable bucket stove. A lot of really good design ideas with it. Our partner could buy and sell carbon credits on the international market. So we thought we could make that work from that standpoint too. Eventually it didn't work out very well, and I think it failed. And that might have had more to do with our donor just not understanding the value of these and putting too many obstacles in our way to make it work. But one of the things that we were really trying to get right, and Mauricio reminded us of this, is that for something to succeed, it should pay for itself, or make money. And maybe I'm just paraphrasing him, and he said it better. But did you find a price point on these things that made them sustainable, so that people could afford to buy them, and that made them attractive and therefore self-sustaining?
Yes, we do the reverse process. First, they build the technology with the project money, and also the materials were local. Then, when they have the design, the final design, they start to sell this packet of the technology to the other families. But the prices was very low, because they just need like local materials, the time of the people that was doing. And also we were working with a lot of enterprises in Cusco and Puno in Peru, that they built another kind of cook. And we helped them to improve the design and to improve the cost of the materials for the design. We work with some universities, we work with another NGOs, and now they have like a competitive price in the market to sell that. Maybe I can show you all the catalog of cooks that we have, and with the prices of fabrication after that. Yeah, it's okay, don't worry.
How do you know that the new design is improving?
Is improving
the air quality indoor?
We have, they have like 4 or 5 indicators. One of them is the smoke, the smoke emission. The other one is the improve the time of the cooking. The other one is the use of the material and the quality of the material that they have. And I don't remember the other two, but I can show you. Yeah, I can share with you. We work this project with a lot of technical institutions. So I think that, and with GIZ. Yeah.
And they come in the house, during the initial design
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
monitor that?
Yeah. We can share you all the information that we have from this project. It has two phases. The first one was the development in the families, and the other one was the link to the market and the design the models for the markets. And it was a very interesting project that we have because it's an innovation funding, and we think that it could be recreate or we replicate or escalate for another things also.
One last question. So I've seen students come from India and also very good students from Peru and so on. And Purdue is a global university. Certainly we want to help everybody. But also I'm seeing that to some level, the students coming from there within, or even institutions within the country, perhaps are not so sensitive to these issues as we would like. So you do have good schools and colleges. What are your challenges in terms of getting them involved, like you're trying, like we are trying to get involved with global problems?
Yes, we have a lot of problems also in Peru. One of them is the budget for the public universities. We have budget for the innovation, we have budget for investigation, but we have a lot of administrative issues for use that budget. Yesterday we were talking with Tamara and with Gary, for example, that how the University of San Agustin in Arequipa has to do a lot of invest, so they can use the funds of the canon minero, of the regalias of the mining, to use that funds. So I think that what is happening in the universities of Peru is that they are finding the administrative ways to use the funds that they have for doing innovation, for doing investigation. And there are another universities in Lima, for example, like the Católica, like the San Marcos, that they are doing the efforts to do that, but it's not in all the Peru.
Any other questions?
I was just going to add a comment to the piece with UNSA, Nacional San Agustín de Arequipa. And one of the things we're finding is that a lot of the Andean countries have provisions for revenues from mining extractive industries to be reinverted. And this is a huge funding because it literally doubles or sometimes trebles the national investment in research. What's been interesting in the process is every Andean country has different laws. The one in Peru puts the money pretty much in an account that is accessible only by the public university in a region, and the thing is given by the region. Turns out there's a lot of innovation needed to figure out how to unlock that account.
Yes,
and so it's a very interesting process. I think all these are, the universities are learning how to do these things and move on it, but it's promising.
Yeah, thank you so much. We have a small project with the University of Cusco, for example. We will have like 200 soles for doing innovation, but we just start the project and we didn't know how to reach that money. It was very difficult for us to get to that money with the universities. So now that I know the example of the UNSA, we are going to connect them, and so how do they that? Yeah.
All right, so are there any other questions? If not, thank you very much for our speaker again.